What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel if you're new. Welcome back if you are a repeat viewer. Today we have a 2021 ZH2. This is a Kawasaki. It is forced inducted just like the Kawasaki H2. It's an upright style bike, and if you've seen my previous video, we actually took one that was completely stock. We slapped a Brock's Pentacarbon, which is what this one has, and we tuned that one and we made 230 wheel horsepower out of it. This one's a little bit different. He already has a chain and sprocket kit. You can see the Vortex rear aluminum on it, 42 tooth. So I believe what the owner told me, now I don't know off the top of my head, but I believe he told me he actually went with a longer gear ratio because this bike is so spunky. It is a wheelie monster. So I believe he said he elongated the gear ratio, meaning he either went down in the rear or he went up in the front. Okay, that's how you make your gears longer. And again, he's got the full exhaust, the Brock's Pentacarbon, and he also has a Sprint filter on this, he notified me. What we did recently, we actually had a full air-to-water intercooler kit installed on this particular bike. So we're able to push the bike and we don't have to kind of neuter it, if you will, whenever we're done. We can actually push it and leave it, which is kind of like what I like to do. Is what we like to do. We like to make power and we like to be able to let the owners enjoy that power. So that's what he wants. He said he's all about it. He wants some more power. Now, this bike has a mail-in flash, okay? I'm not gonna name names or anything like that, but it has a mail-in flash and he's not too thrilled with it. Already, we've idled the bike, we kind of warmed it up a little bit, and already, even just idle, we're running around 11.0 AFR, 11.5 AFR, which is just overly excessive. It's way too rich. We have fuel dumping into these cylinders. So what we're gonna do, obviously, we're gonna fix that. We haven't ran the bike yet. We're actually going to baseline it now. And then what we're gonna do is go through the process of retuning it, yada, yada, yada. The same old spiel like I always do. We're gonna baseline it, we're gonna compare, then we're gonna tweak it, we're gonna fix it, and then we're gonna lay over our final numbers versus the baseline numbers. So that way you guys can see exactly what changes that we're making and you'll know exactly what we're doing. So if you have a bike similar to this, you can see what kind of results are gonna be similar to what we can produce on your bike. So without further ado, let's get it fully warmed up and let's get going. So far we have ran it with the mail-in ECU flash, and then we reverted it back to 100% stock and we re-ran it just to make sure. Now we did compare it to another ZH2 that we've tuned previously to make sure the numbers are very comparable, and it actually had a very similar exhaust system. But the other bike also had stock chain and sprockets, and it also had a stock air filter, whereas this particular one has the Sprint P08 along with a Vortex rear. And I believe he is still on, okay, so he's on a 525 setup, chain and sprocket. So what we've done now is we've gone ahead and put a, let's put it like a base map, if you will. Like this would be our mail-in flash is what we've installed on this bike. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna get it fired up, we're gonna get it warmed back up, and then we're gonna go ahead and test it with our mail-in style flashing, and then go ahead and critique it and get it actually custom tuned and dial it all in. So here we go. All right, guys, so we're gonna go ahead and take a break on this ZH2. We have gotten to a stopping point, if you will. The owner does want more power, so he's gonna let us take this another step, and we're gonna go ahead and get him some aftermarket supercharger gears, and we're gonna go ahead and bump up the boost on this thing. I don't know what it is yet. We're gonna go ahead and start doing some research on it, and we're also gonna start reaching out to some companies, and we're gonna get some supercharger gears in here so we can run some more boost, so we can make more power. So he wants 250 wheel, that's what we're gonna shoot for, and that's gonna be wild. So it's been at least a couple of months since we've had this bike, and the reason being is that The Stage 3 supercharger gears are coming from Australia, and not only that, but the company that we purchased them through, they actually get them manufactured by another company that they had to purchase from. So once they got them in stock, they sent them over to us, and we finally got them in stock, or we finally got them, sorry. And we got those installed recently. The last time we had this on the dyno, it produced, I want to say, around 230 horsepower to 231. We will go over all the numbers at the end, but needless to say, we're gonna go ahead and do these final runs now. It is on pump gas. It's on 93 octane pump gas. The goal for today is to make 250 horsepower or more, but the goal is to make at least 250 horsepower. So that's the big goal. It's on Stage 3 supercharger gearing. It has a Jaeger Works air-to-water intercooler kit and a full Brock's pentacarbon exhaust. And I want to say the Sprint P08 air filter. He had the exhaust installed and the air filter installed prior to coming and seeing us. He also had a flash done. We fixed all of that. It wasn't running the best. So I want to say it was a mail-in flash. We fixed all of it. We got the drivability down. We got the power a little bit cleaner. We got the intercooler kit so we can push it a little harder to actually make some power. Like I said, we got it up to 230, 231 or so. And then, like I said, the owner contacted me. He said, I don't want that bike unless you make 250 horsepower or more. So we told him, hey, the only other thing to really do at this point is get these gears, throw them in there, and let's retune it. And should make over the 250 mark. So needless to say, it's gonna be a really fun day. I'm excited. I can't wait to tune this thing. It's dope. Now, he did say that he re-geared the bike to make it a little laggier. He is on a 42 rear. I don't remember what these are stock. We'll do a little bit of research, but I can't remember what he changed the front to, but I do know that he lengthened it a little bit. As you can see, it's all the way on the near the end of the adjuster block here on his stock wheelbase. And because he already said, even with that mail-in flash not running the best, he did say this thing's a wheelie machine, so I can only imagine an extra 50 horsepower. It was making about 200 to like 206. Again, we will overlay all the dyno numbers. It is making around that number and that was on the stock supercharger gears with that mail-in flash. So this thing is gonna be rowdy. I am so excited. I cannot wait to see what this thing is gonna lay out. Stage 3 supercharger gears, stock freaking wheelbase, stock height. This is gonna be a wild pony. Come on. Guys, so we finally finished the ZH2, and what a journey it's been. It's been a little bit of a wait to get all this stuff done, but we finally got it all wrapped up. The numbers completely surprised us. We were not expecting anywhere near the results that we ended up getting. I still think there's a little bit room for more, but we decided to end it where we did, to be honest with you, because again, it is stock wheelbase, stock height. This is going to be more than a handful for the owner. In fact, we're recommending that he de-gear it a little bit more. We make the gearing a lot longer than already what he already has on the bike, just because of how much power we ended up making. With that being said, let's go over the numbers real quick. And we're gonna show you the different levels on when it came in versus retuning it versus the full gusto, the full Stage 3 that he ended with, that we're gonna send him on his way with. So here we go, let's look at him. So when he first came in, we have here the mail-in flash, okay? This is a very popular flash. I'm not gonna say who it is, but if you guys wanna ask me, go ahead, list it down in the comments. But needless to say, this was a mail-in flash from a big box company. We were at 197 wheel horsepower with basically 97 foot-pounds of torque. But look what happens as we come up. It actually hits so the air fuel was okay, but to be honest with you, I don't know the software in which that company uses. So I'm not sure really what happened at this top end area. It hit like some kind of, almost like an ignition cut or a throttle drop or something. Something happened in the software. I'm not really sure, but we had this error and it kept happening. So I didn't want to risk doing any damage to the motor by continuously running up here. So we made like 2 passes, and after the second pass I said, okay, we're not going to keep doing this. I didn't want to hurt the bike. So needless to say, this was the mail-in flash from a company, was that green line. Okay, we'll highlight it here so you guys can see it a little easier. But yeah, definitely kind of fell on its face up top. So this is when he originally came in. I told him, let's go ahead and take that off, let's tune it. Let's throw an intercooler on it. So we opted to put the intercooler on it, and we were able to retune it, and this is what we ended with here, the blue one, which made 231 wheel horsepower and 104 foot-pounds of torque. Much cleaner pool. Now again, we were able to do that because he had an intercooler installed on the bike. All right, if we did not put the intercooler on, if the intercooler was not installed on this bike, then we would not be able to leave the bike at this power level. Okay, we would have to pull the power out of the bike because we would actually risk blowing the bike up. I'm going to interrupt real quick going over the numbers because I'm just going to notate this for all you H2, ZH2, H2SX owners, any of your forced induction owners, mainly on the H2 platform for this, what I'm about to go over. Whenever you start pushing the bike to make these higher power levels, and you're really pushing the bike, you're advancing timing, you're unlocking the throttle to its full potential, all of these things, and you start pushing the bike pretty hard, what ends up happening is you start running a lot of heat. You run a lot of on Kawasaki they call it boost temps. It's really your intake air temp sensor, or your intake air temps. What ends up happening with boosted applications is you run a lot of friction. PSI, pounds per square inch, if you're running, let's say 15 pounds of boost, 15 PSI, well, that pressure creates friction, which creates heat. So the more pressure you have, the more heat you create. So you need to counteract that with either an intercooler system or meth injection. You need some way of cooling it down, or some people, they run like a higher octane fuel or ethanol or something like that to help combat this. Now again, this is going to be a street bike. He is on pump gas, he's on 93 pump, so he's going to that's why we opted to run the intercooler, so again he could kind of get that fear out of his head. It's going to run okay, he can drive on it, he can beat on it, and it will be okay. We'll keep those boost temps down, and it keeps it considerably down compared to not running one. You have a very, very high risk, basically a guarantee that you're going to blow that motor up, you're going to melt pistons if you don't run that intercooler kit, or like I said, meth injection, ethanol, something. You have to run something to help cool that motor down when those boost temps start going up and up and up, that intake air temp. So needless to say, that is why we were able to push this bike. Even on the stage 1 setup, we were able to push it to 231 wheel, is because he had that intercooler. The intercooler got installed, and needless to say, we were able to do that. We spoke to the owner. He said, screw that. I want more than 250 wheel. I've got to have more than 250 wheel on this bike. Let's do it. How can we do it? So we said, hey, if you want to do it, we got to increase the boost. Let's go to a stage 3 kit. We'll guarantee you over 250 wheel. So needless to say, back to the numbers. So when we finalized this on the stage 3 setup, we ended up making 266 wheel horsepower and 119 foot-pounds of torque, which is going to be this red run here, which this is a monumental jump compared to basically just bolt-ons, intercooler, and a tune. If we target here, we'll target right here at 12,000 RPM. We have a jump from basically 219 wheel to 258. So that's almost a 40 wheel jump on the stage 3 kit, which is, that's insane. That's pretty massive. 40 horsepower. That's a massive, massive jump. So, and if you want to compare, let's take one of the higher numbers here on which he came in. We're at 195 wheel. We're targeting 11,000 RPM. So we go from 195 wheel to 244. We're talking gains of almost 50 horsepower that he is not used to yet. So this is going to be an absolute monster with him leaving here. So I don't think he's really prepared for what's going to hit him. But needless to say, most people aren't until they actually get on it and they take a few rips, and then
obviously they're like, holy shit, this is a totally different bike, and then reality hits. But anyway, needless to say, guys, this thing is a beast. He's probably gonna want to stretch it, honestly, or like I said, heavily de-gear this thing so it's way more manageable. Right now, you know, I guarantee you, he takes this thing out into the street, it's gonna be a wheelie machine. It's gonna be almost uncontrollable unless he's putzing around. So he's probably gonna want to stretch it, lower it, do these things to make it a little bit more manageable, handle the power. But needless to say, we got him what he wanted. He wanted over 250. We overshot that by quite a bit, but needless to say, you know, if the power is there, so if he wants it, all he's got to do is twist that throttle. So anyway, guys, again, we hope you really enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, subscribe. If you gained any value, if you gained any entertainment or any knowledge out of this, leave a comment. And like I said, please like and subscribe. It's the least that you can do. It goes a long way with us. It really helps support us making more videos such as this to show you guys more stuff that most other shops aren't going to show you. So if you guys could, that would mean the world to us. Share the video as well. Share it to your friends. If they have a ZH2, show them the video. Let them know what kind of power that they can make with this similar setup. It'd be great. Spread the love, spread the wealth, all that. Thank you guys again. Be safe, and we'll see you on another episode.